Dr. Akinwumi Adesina held talks with Zimbabwe's president, treasury officials and the private sector, after which he accepted a role in helping the Southern African nation to try to win international support for its debt clearance plan.
This is our arrears clearance roadmap, arrears clearance strategy. Now, but for this to work well, for us to be successful, we need a champion. And I'm pleased to say that Dr. Adesina has agreed to be a champion, to cajole all partners around the world, within Zimbabwe and everywhere, for us to be able to implement our arrears clearance. If we don't do that, we don't clear our arrears, it will continue to hamper our ability to complete our economic reforms.
Zimbabwe owes about $13.5 billion to several creditors, including the World Bank, IMF, European Investment Bank and the African Development Bank. It's been making token payments of $700,000 per quarter to service its obligations to the AFDB and hopes it can make a more meaningful dent on or restructure its outstanding obligations. The AFDB president said no one can climb up a hill with a backpack full of sand, referring to how Zimbabwe's debt arrears are weighing down the economy and highlighting why it is important to have that burden lifted. He expressed confidence a resolution could be found despite Western sanctions on Zimbabwe.
There are reforms. The minister mentioned economic reforms. There are, of course, political governance reforms that are also needed. There are also rapprochement with the international community, and that's why I'm here, to help that particular process. Yes, and we've done this before. You know, when we had the situation with Somalia, African Development Bank worked very closely with the World Bank and with IMF, and we cleared the arrears for Somalia. When it came to the issue of Sudan, we did exactly the same thing. African Development Bank, World Bank, IMF, working with all the bilaterals, we cleared that. Of course, the context and situations are different, but once there's a commitment to it, everybody knows that Zimbabwe has to be back.
Zimbabwe's government says a concrete plan to expunge its arrears is key to attracting foreign direct investment and unlocking funding for infrastructure.